Watch your mouth, it could be delaying your destiny. Joseph's life is a story of God's faithfulness, but it's also a cautionary tale of how what you say, who you say it to, and how you say it could actually end up delaying your destiny. The main lesson we're going to focus on today from Joseph's story is the importance of having discernment with the truths that you hold. Were his dreams true? Absolutely. But was it necessary for Joseph to tell his brothers these dreams that he had, especially understanding the fact that they already did not like him based on the favoritism they saw their dad giving to him? Absolutely not. And in life, sometimes we get so excited and we just want to tell, we want to boast, we want to share, but there is wisdom that comes with knowing whether or not we actually should share. And then if the answer is yes, we should share, understanding when to share it and who to share it with. I'm not saying that Joseph should have not shared his dreams, but sharing it with people who you already know don't like you, and those dreams in particular put them in a lesser position to you, it's just going to further breed the hatred that they have going for you. So throughout our lives, we need to really pay attention to how we share our gifts and who we tell things to. And also just having the discernment to ask God, am I actually yet released to share these things? And as I said, with so whom? Another thing to pay attention to is the fact that our blessings can be curses if we don't have wisdom. So the same dreams that Joseph got nearly killed and sold into slavery for are the same dreams that he had that ultimately got him to being second in command to Pharaoh. And what is the difference? It was the timing, it was who he shared it with and how he used this gift. So our gifts, sometimes they're not bad, but our ability to know how to use them or our inability to know how to use them can end up making us feel as if these gifts we have are actually curses on our life. So if there's something that you know feels right, something that you should do, but it appears that every time you try to go for this thing, every time you push for this opportunity, every time you try to enter into doors using this gift, you're constantly being blocked. I would really suggest that you take a step back, pray, and ask God, where is my gift meant to be used? Because there are things that you will see other people doing, and no matter what, you won't be able to tap into that market, even though you feel like you have the stuff. And just because you have the stuff doesn't mean the stuff should be used in that space. So Joseph's gift that was honed, that he had since he was a young teenager, was great. But because of the way he went about using it before he had wisdom and discernment, it ended up taking him on this wild ride that could have ultimately been avoided if he had a little more finesse, a little more wisdom in doing what he was meant to do. God's ultimate plan for Joseph was for him to end up in this position of power that he ultimately got to. But because of the lack of wisdom in how to share it, and because God gives us free will on the journey, he ended up delaying that path and going through a lot of stress and turmoil, from being sold to being put in jail to being forgotten in jail to ultimately getting to where he was going to be. God's not a liar, but at the same time, our will, our co-collaboration can take us off the path or make us take a longer, more messy, windy road than God would have intended for us if we had just kind of focused and been a little more discerning on the things we were doing. So if you find yourself in a season of delay where you're noticing that there are certain things you know you've discussed with God, has given you confirmation on, things, places you're supposed to be, and you don't seem to be getting it, stop everything, silence everything, and make time through prayer, worship, to really hear the Holy Spirit and receive confirmation again. And maybe even for the first time of how you're supposed to get there. Because our free will, our ego, our rushed energy of wanting to get this thing now can take us on paths that are actually longer than the paths that God had for us. So our ability to slow down, to stop, to say, God, if you said this is for me, I trust that it is. And if you said it's for me, you're going to get me there. So all of this scheming, rushing, manipulating, overwhelm, this fear induced movement or this ego induced movement is actually slowing me down. And I'm going to stop it all and be still so that instead of going the windy path to the destination, in that stillness and taking that time, I'm going to be able to hear from you and know exactly how to go. When we do things on our own, when we feel like we are above God and we have more control or we're fighting and we have this fear of looking to the world like we're not doing the thing, or when we get so overzealous with what God has for us that we are boasting about it, it can end up delaying us just as it did for Joseph. And yes, Joseph gets to where he's supposed to be, and God gets all the glory at the end. But in my opinion, he didn't have to struggle as much as he did. So I want you to really be cautious, to guide your tongue. And in that excitement, don't go telling everybody everything. Don't go out there and do too much, because there are people who don't have the best intentions for you. And as you can see with Joseph, it wasn't even anything that he did initially that bred this contempt from his brothers. It was the fact that his dad favored him. So his dad liked him so much that he did something special for him. And just by virtue of existing and being liked by his father, he garnered enemies of every single one of his brothers. So there are ways in our lives where we're already getting grace and favor and good things are happening to us and we're doing nothing but existing, but that's already breeding contempt from other people. And because we don't know the hearts of man, all we can do is be wise and try to keep our mouths shut and not tell too many people the stuff that's going on, because in due time the results will show itself. Joseph's brothers didn't even recognize him when they came asking for food from him, but he still remembered their faces, you know? And that's the thing. People who don't like us, who do harm to us, they will move on with their lives and forget us. And those consequences of the path that we took because of that stays with us forever. We never forget. So let's be wise and not put ourselves in positions that will delay our blessing and take us on the long route when God could give us much smoother passages if we have wisdom. So I really hope that this helps you and it offers you perspective and gives you a little bit of a reminder to just kind of keep it quiet. It's something that I struggle with, but reading and hearing these stories and getting these cautionary tales from the Bible are really helping me to know the importance of like keeping everything close to the chest until it's done. And if you like this video, I would love it if you liked it. If you love this video, subscribe so you can get more of what I'm doing here and really benefit. And if you think that this video would be beneficial to somebody in your life, I would really encourage you to share it with them so that they can continue to grow, seek God's face, and really align their purpose and their path with the path of least resistance in God. And I want you to continue to be kind to yourself, because you're a work in progress and you're making progress. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.